When I read the ZEC response last week, I thought, well, they have a point. We must just wait and let's follow what the law says. But ZEC is not only breaking the law now. They are just incompetent and downright disrespectful. Nomination court has come and gone. The commissioner announced giving the voters' roll to a first-time voter and a person living with disabilities. This was an inconclusive voters' roll, as they stated. Commissioner Chigumba, you handed over a provisional voters' roll, the same type of voters' roll that you refused for political parties to be given when they requested for one. Thankfully today, a voters' roll was given out by lunchtime after a lot of pressure had come from social media and other international observers. Okay guys, ZEC has incompetent people clearly. I mean, they've had over 3 years to prepare for this election. Simple things like planning that a BVR compiled voters roll can be put into an Excel sheet, put on the computer, uploaded on their website and distributed immediately after nomination court was supposed to happen. I mean, I thought of it in 5 minutes. I don't know why a whole organization couldn't figure that out. It's the 21st century after all. We are a people with insecurities when it comes to ZEC handling free and fair election. It continues to feed those insecurities. We as the citizens must start figuring out consequences for incompetence within ZEC. It is obvious that we cannot and should not explore the idea of the biggest opposition boycotting the election as a consequence for ZEC being unable to bring in the election. Because there exist people like Brian Teki who are already presidential candidates, who are not serious about campaigning and yet they are confident that they will win. These people will specifically legitimize the election if we are not careful. We have been worried about how this election will be rigged. I mean, they have allowed international observers to come in and also allowed political parties to observe as the ballot paper is going to be printed. I swear, even with a smart justice like Justice Chigumba leading the commission, the international community will be blindsided and will call our election free and fair. But today, Justice Chigumba clearly showed us how the election will be rigged. Take a look at this video.
Once the president has proclaimed the election date, there is nothing short of an earthquake which can stop the election. So whether candidates scrutinize the voters' roll, whether they see any anomalies in it, whatever the anomalies are, whatever legal recourse that they have will not stop the election. I want that to be very clear, and that's the law.
Clearly, we can see how the opposition has been set up to play themselves. The voters' roll will come out with anomalies, and the only place that they can get correction for the anomalies is through the courts. But they have clearly stated that only God, through an earthquake, can stop the election. And guess what? By the time the courts decide when and how the anomalies must be fixed, Justice Chigumba and ZEC will still be ill-prepared to run an election. And that election is going to be a fumbled around election. So there's only two things that we have to do right now. To endorse one presidential candidate and make sure that the election will have a clear man win, or continue with this madness and find ourselves in court over a faulty voters' roll and the incumbent will retain its seat. I mean, it's simple as that. So for the political parties that have made themselves available for the presidential race and every other independent, right now is the time that we ask you to choose us as the citizen, to align with one political person and be able to have a clear win for this election. After those 4 days, there will be no turning back. What I can assure you is that the incumbent will win because there are a lot of problems ahead. We must be tactful. We expect our politicians to be tactful if we want to see any form of change now. For our episode today, I'd like to thank Makeup by Gamu for doing my makeup again and making me look pretty, and also our supporters from Strategic Sound Design for allowing us to have this beautiful studio to be able to give you concise news for the day. So guys, I still have very little subscribers on my YouTube channel and I could use a whole lot more subscribers. So please go onto the YouTube page Nomaliso Msasiwa, click the subscribe button and the bell button to notify you every time I put up an episode. Also, share with your family and friends so that we can grow the subscriber base. This has been No Bias and No Spin.